for Terence Crawford, I think there's a lot of pressure for him to prove that he is who he is, and it's not just the resume that's weak.
Contacted Terence 2 years ago. He didn't want to fight Shawn. He was contacted a year ago. He told Shawn, well, I got a couple other things going on. You know, if things don't work out, you know, I'll give you a call. He never gave us a call. He don't want this fight. It's here, but he doesn't really want it.
For Terence Crawford, I think there's a lot of pressure for him to prove that he is who he is, and it's not just the resume that's weak.
Contacted Terence 2 years ago. He didn't want to fight Shawn. He was contacted a year ago. He told Shawn, well, I got a couple other things going on. You know, if things don't work out, you know, I'll give you a call. He never gave us a call. He don't want this fight. It's here, but he doesn't really want it.
What's good, family? Smash the like button, subscribe, and lick off the bell. Oh, Jesus, what can I say on this one? Your man's Kenny Porter airing out Terence Crawford, punking him. Yeah, give him a good punking. Listen, T-Craw, you didn't want it. Yeah, we rang you 2 years ago. Oh man, well, you know, I'm gonna get back to you. And what do you think this is? This ain't no sales call. Yeah, this ain't no direct sales line. We're talking about the fight business. Well, you know, I'll give you a call back and I'll let you know. Wow, you fruity. Yeah, T-Craw's sounding hella fruity right now. Oh man, well, you know, I'm with Bob Harriman and we were top rank. Oops. Yeah, and the thing is with T-Craw, I like T-Craw. I think that Errol Spence has ducked him. But what people don't appreciate is the fact that T-Craw, he ain't really been active like that, has he? You give me a name, tell me a name apart from Errol Spence, and again, I'm giving him all the credit. 100% Errol Spence ducked Crawford. However, what other names has Crawford been active? Yeah, out here. Not old dons like Gamboa, who he went life and death with. Yeah, what names has he been actively saying? Okay, I can't get the top guy, but I want Keith Thurman, or I want this guy, I want that guy. He ain't been really. Listen, your man T-Craw, he ain't been active. Yeah, and this is what I hear from Kenny Porter. I believe it. I don't see why Kenny would lie. I mean, Kenny isn't known as a prolific liar. Yeah, T-Craw, oh man, well, you know, I'm gonna give you a call back, and we going, well, you know. Oops, didn't call. Yeah, he didn't want it. Yeah, T-Craw, 100% he wants to do the big fight with Spence, but we can all do, like, who wouldn't want to do a $10 million fight, $20 million fight? The fight which we want to know about, you want to do you want to do the fight with Shawn Porter, who ain't selling no tickets? Oops, you ain't want that one. Yeah, that's the one you didn't want. Instead, I mean, put it this way, people. T-Craw didn't have a problem booking in with Kell Eyes Brook. Yeah, Kell No Eyes have an ass Brook. Yeah, had no problem finding him. You ever wondered that? Have you man never wondered how Crawford always somehow managed to fight some bum? It's true though, isn't it? Call me a liar. He always managed to fight some bum somehow. He's always fighting the bum. It's Crawford. Now, to be fair to Crawford, I'm giving him his credit because this fight's signed now. And I know that I haven't really stayed covering this fight, but trust me, I'm watching it. This is a cracking fight. I give Crawford credit. But the bottom line is, people have been done for Shawn Porter. People have been done for Kell Brook. What's Crawford been doing? I guess he's been at 140 to be fair. But, I mean, he'd be hanging around fighting Jeff Horn, didn't he? What are you fighting Jeff Horn for? Wow! Yeah? But anyway, we're going to find out what's going on. But I'm just telling you, man, that, listen, Kenny Porter put a fire on him. It makes me laugh as well because Terence Crawford said, yeah, well, we're not friends. Listen, we're not friends when I'm fighting someone. Listen, what you mean to say is you ain't friends because you heard Kenny's bars and they got you big mad. Yeah, what you mean to say is you ain't friends because Kenny aired out your business. Yeah, listen, bottom line is Kenny aired you out. 100%, call me a liar. Yeah, did or did not Kenny air out business? 100%. Crawford thought, oh, we're good friends, you know. Kenny Porter and Shawn Porter, they're not going to tell the public that they wanted to fight bad and I forgot to call them back about making a contract. Oops. Because to be fair, you know me, I'm fair and I'm consistent. Meaning that, guess what? For years we've heard about the other side of the street and I always mug off Errol Spence and the PBC people for saying other side of the street. However, new information's come to light as leaked and exposed by Kenny Porter that your man Crawford. And by the way, people, Look at Crawford's resume. I'm not knocking the fact that I think he does want certain fights, but I'm just saying, resumes don't lie. Yeah, when you always find a way to fight a bum and a washed dude, and you ain't never fight no one decent, that's sus to me. I mean, who did you fight? Amir Khan, Kell Brook. These guys are washed. These guys, Crawford, just about 10 years late. Yeah, Amir Khan was decent 2013, I think it was. You well late, super duper late. Same as Kell Brook. Kelly Brook was good 2015. 2021, 2020. Crawford loved fighting bums. He loved, and the thing is, I don't believe it's, or don't get me wrong, there is certainly PBC, they do play funny, dirty games, but I think in a way, Terence Crawford has kind of relied on that now. Oh, well, other side of the street, it's not my fault. But put it this way, people. The reason I believe Shawn, yeah, is because, look, the fight's happening with Shawn. Shawn won it, yeah? Crawford's the one with the belt, if that makes sense. If Shawn didn't want this fight, why would it? Shawn in no way is obligated to take this fight. Guess what? Crawford is the one who's obligated. Oops. Yeah? And Porter's the one saying, we wanted it, which is, from this point of view, or from this fight's point of view, this proves that Shawn Porter wanted it, because he could have gone another direction completely. Your man Crawford, this doesn't prove Crawford wanted to fight years ago because he forced into it. Otherwise, you're going to get stripped and look like a complete ducker. Yeah? All I'm saying is, people, is that resumes don't lie. And when you always... don't forget as well, we've heard about Kell Brook and Amir Khan getting big paydays to fight Crawford. So it's not about the money. The money was there. It's just he stayed fighting the washed dons, the washed Kell Brook and Amir. Wow, that's bad. You down bad right now. And it took listen, people, it took a mandatory, because don't forget, Crawford was fighting Amir Khan and Kell Brook. Kenny Porter just told you 2 years ago we wanted Crawford. Why couldn't Crawford pay some of them millions that he paid Khan and Kell? Why couldn't he pay that to Crawford? Oops. I mean, to Porter. Oops. Yeah? He didn't want to do that. He want to stay hiding behind the PBC narrative. Oh, man, well, they don't want to fight me. Well, Porter wanted you badly. And the thing is, with Crawford forced Porter to have to get a mandatory position for the fight to happen. And that's suspect, in my opinion. Because why couldn't he have this Porter fight could have been happened 2 years ago? Bottom line. Why did it take a mandatory to get this fight on? That's suspect, I'm sorry, from Crawford's point of view. Especially when, I wouldn't have thought nothing about it, really. But now, Kenny Porter's brought it to our attention, what can I say? It's true. And now, to add insult to injury, Shawn also punking. And it all kind of, for me, comes together. Shawn said, listen, your resume is kind of peak. Yeah? You need to fight me to see what your resume is really saying. And I hate to say this, people, but it's true. I mean, what's Crawford really done? Yes, he went undisputed, but undisputed don't mean nothing, in my opinion. Undisputed, it's not relevant unless you're fighting certain dudes. Or unless your divisions, like for example, 135. That's worth something. Because we had Teofimo versus Lomachenko. One solid fight. 2 potential Hall of Famers. What Hall of Famers has Crawford beat? None. Now for me, Shawn Porter, bear in mind, people, remember, before Errol Spence's crash, Shawn Porter pushed Errol Spence all the way to the limit. Yeah, all the way. Shawn Porter rode Errol Spence's legs all the way to the limit. He was just about to give in, just about to fold. So the point is, we know the level of Shawn Porter. And allegedly, Shawn Porter's actually honing his skills, getting more skillful. And I have to admit, in that Porter versus Spence fight, he did look a lot more skillful than his past fights. Who knows? Has he made more gains in the last 2 years? Because the thing is with Shawn Porter sometimes falls to the level of his competition. If Shawn Porter's fighting a crap fight, he looks crap. But normally, when the pressure's on, he shines. That said, so does Crawford. However, the problem is, Crawford shines against old Khan, old Brook. Is he going to shine against Porter? He should do. But the problem is, like Shawn says, listen, Crawford, You need to knock me out. You need to beat me to validate your resume. Because listen, Crawford. Your resume is not certified on its own. There's certain people, yeah, where you can look at their resume and say, his resume is certified. At this point in time, yeah, on November 20th, as of today, November 20th, Terence Crawford's resume, we don't really know what he's really saying. All we know is he's beat a bunch of old wash dudes and then sprinkled some belts in. Because that 140 division, who did he beat? No one really. It's a bit leave it in it, truth be known. For me, what Crawford needs to do is go back down to 140 and fight Josh Taylor. That's the kind of fight he needs to be in to certify his 140 legacy. Beating Dongo. What's in Dongo done? Yeah? What's Ding Dongo done? What's he done? What has Ding Dongo done? Exactly nothing. Ain't no one heard of Ding Dongo. Ain't no one heard of Julius Ding Dongo. Yeah? What else has he done there? 140. I don't even remember who he beat. That's the thing. God knows how he got. Wait a minute. Crawford got 4 belts. Doing what? Don't no one know. Yeah? Don't no one know. So that to me didn't really count. What's he been? I mean, not being funny here. Crawford's how old? 35. What's he been doing his whole career? Seriously, because yeah, we knock Errol Spence, yeah, but at least he's fought Crawford. I mean, at least he's fought Porter. At least he's fought some names. That makes sense. Danny Garcia and them, man. And to be honest, I'm not saying it's Errol Spence is all that either. To be honest, I'm not sitting here putting him on a pedestal. But the point is, what has? I mean, does he even have a Danny Garcia on his resume? Does Terence Crawford have a Danny Garcia on his resume? Where? Tell me where. I don't see it myself. He's too busy fighting Jeff Horns and Kell Brooks. Weird, fun. Listen, Terence Crawford got a funny style resume. But thankfully, to his credit, yes, he ducked Porter for months and years, but it's here now. And we're going to find out, just like Shawn says, we're going to find out if or if not, number 1, Crawford's resume is certified, and number 2, whether ultimately his skills are certified. Because I do believe, unlike Kell Brook and Amir Khan, Shawn Porter is not washed. I don't believe so. So if, for example, Terence Crawford ends up knocking out Shawn Porter, who's never been knocked out, that will mean something significant. And that will, in my opinion, put Crawford as the clear A side in terms of winning the fight. The clear odds-on favourite against Spence. Because Spence had all kind of troubles with him. And the last thing I'll say is that, for me, bearing in mind, and this is one thing I never understood, bear in mind, and really, I should talk about this after the fight, but just quickly, since I'm on the topic, for a lot of time, Terence Crawford has used the fact that he's on the other side of the street as an excuse to an extent why he's not having big fights. Oh, I've been blackballed. I've been shot at the market. Oh, I'm with Bob Arum. So PBC are playing games. That's what Crawford's been saying, which is true to an extent. However, we now start hearing from Porter that this is more of a cover. He's used it as an excuse not to really push the issue. Yeah? But my point is, what makes Crawford's career even more suspect? What makes Crawford's lacking career even more suspect? Despite or regardless of the PBC funny games, because we all know, I've already admitted, the PBC play games, 100%. Yeah, I'm the one who's exposed the PBC protection program. Yeah, and no one done that. That was breaking leaked research, classified, top secret things are leaked, 100%. Stay leaking them. Yeah? But what I'm saying is that it's suspect at the lack of depth in Crawford's resume when, what do we know? It's all well and good talking about what the PBC are doing, but wait a minute. You for years have had a feud with Bob Arum. So you've been feuding with Bob Arum for 5 years at least. Well, let's call it 2 or 3 years. But let's call it 5 years. The truth is you've been feuding with Bob Arum since time began. So what I've always found sceptical is that, right there, you tell us you're feuding with Bob Arum, you tell us that he's robbing money and not paying and whatnot, but yet you haven't said, you know what, I'm leaving Bob and I'm going to the PBC to get the good fights. Oops. Why is that? And I'll tell you why it is. And Kenny Porter's exposed why it is. The reason Crawford didn't do what makes kind of logical sense, and again, I'm not justifying PBC behaviour. I'm not saying that it's right the PBC should be blocking other fights. No, but the facts are the facts, people. You have to go where the business is. Look at Alvarez. Alvarez shows you how it's done. Yeah? If there's a fight on PBC, you have to go to PBC. Yeah? That's what, if you want to fight the best, that's what you have to do. And I'm not being funny. Look how big Canelo is. He's massive. And still, he had to move, if that makes sense. Which shows you that sometimes to get the best fights, even when you're as big as Alvarez, which Crawford is barely 10% of Alvarez. Literally 10%. So, if Alvarez has to humble himself and just go where he has to go to get the best fights, that's what you have to do. But Crawford, despite not being nowhere near the size of Alvarez, for years, just stayed moaning, rather than saying, and again, the reason I bring up the Bob thing is to say that, it's not, you didn't even like the guy. It's not like you can say, well, yeah, I'm not getting no good fights, but Bob's my guy. You hated Bob. So wait there, you hate Bob. You ain't got no good fights. Why haven't you moved? Ah, it's all making sense now. The reason he didn't move was because that narrative was a convenient narrative. It meant he could fight Kell Brook and Amir Khan, and the majority of average and low IQ fans would say, oh, it's not his fault. Oh, see, he's being blackballed. That's all he can get. No, it's not all he can get. Because Alvarez could have sat there and said, oh, I've been blackballed from Undisputed. The PBC this, the PBC that. No, instead, he ended up having a double negotiation because he was desperate for that fight. And at the end of the day, smart boxers understand. Smart boxers who want smoke understand that who really cares? Yeah? Bob's a twat anyway. So let me sack Bob off and get this money. With Errol Spence. Instead, Crawford wasted the best years of his life just hanging out, fighting scrubs, fighting old dudes, funny style dudes. And now we hear this from Kenny Porter, exposing the fact that this has been the case. Yeah, Crawford is known now, I'm afraid to say, as a serial ducker, or a serial scary ass, in my opinion. Because he hasn't made them kind of Alvarez moves. Alvarez makes his own destiny. Yeah, I want Caleb Plant. Let me go get that dude. Yeah, Terence Crawford should have said, I want Errol Spence. Let me, rather than sit down and conveniently say, the PBC are ducking me. Let me make it absolutely impossible for that to happen. Yeah, all right, Bob. I don't like you, Bob. You're a twat anyway. Let me go and join the PBC stable and pressure this dude. Be all the way pressuring him. But instead, what did Crawford do? Oh well, you know what? I've got a good narrative here. Let me sit and chill. And again, I've already called Errol Spence a ducker, 100%. But that's what he is. My issue now is the fact that we have to put Crawford in the same category. They're both pretty much, well, Crawford's not as bad as Spence, but it's not far off. He was happy to go along to get, I don't really want that fight either. I don't really want to have to test my resume. I'm happy just fighting old dudes for money. Like Kell Brook and Amir Khan. He was happy to sit back and use that built-in excuse. And that's not greatness in my opinion. Greatness is sniffing out the sweetness and going to get it. Like Alvarez has been doing. Alvarez sniffs sweetness out and going, you know what I'm saying? He sniffs it out. He demands sweetness. He wants the sweetness bad. Crawford, show me where on Crawford's resume you see a man thirsty for sweetness. Crawford ain't never headhunted one man who's sweet to him. Yeah, he a scary ass. He stay playing political games and hiding behind Bob and hiding behind the sports and the management and the promotion inefficiencies. Oh look, yeah, the BBC. Wait a minute, I know the BBC don't do outside fights. Oh, that's good. I'll just hang back and fight Amir Khan. Wow, you down bad. So yeah, I can't lie to you. The thing about Porter for me is I want really Porter to win this fight because he really deserves it. Guess what? Porter from the jump has fought everyone. He fought a fresh Kell Brook. He fought a fresh Errol Spence. He fighting a fresh Crawford. He the guy who consistently, not moaning, not whining, not making excuses, not sitting back. Shawn Porter's the one who stay busy, he stay ready, and he stay fighting the best. I want him to win. Because for me, Errol Spence and Crawford, they're as bad as each other, more or less. When it comes to this true fighting game, who's the most pure? It's Shawn Porter. I'd like him to win. I think it'd be a great look on his career to dethrone Crawford. Now, do I really care about Crawford versus Spence? No, I don't, to be honest. Don't care about the fight, so I'm not bothered. Some people will say, oh no, I want Crawford to win because then we get the Spence. Number one, you probably ain't going to get it anyway, Spence versus Crawford. And number two, Porter's a man who wants this. Listen, you heard Kenny. Kenny said he been wanting this fight, yeah? If a man's been wanting this fight and the other dude was funny style, he need to win. And I'm hoping Porter can knock the funny style out of Crawford, 100%. Porter needs to knock that funny style dude. The funny style didn't give the, I lost your number. Oh man, I lost your number, Wow. You said you were going to call him back to get the fight locked in. Then, you talking about how you lost the number. Wow, you down bad. You goofy. Anyway, the fight coming up. Who going to win? What going to happen? Who knows? But you best believe the YB will be here to react after the fight. No doubt. Porter, watch this dude. Yeah? No doubt.